Okay. Cool.
We live, was he?
Yeah.
I'll start just now. Good evening and welcome to round 10 of TnB season 3. It's the finale. We're here for a championship decider. There's 10 points in it. And as you can see, the rain is falling in the pit lane. Special event tonight. It's also a night race. It's going to be interesting. In the commentary box with me, got Wazzy. How does it look?
Jonathan.
Much better to be in here, right?
Definitely. Cozy, warm cup of coffee, and you're not battling a 900 horsepower Formula 1 car in Monaco, which can be like your living room, basically. A little bit
on these rather interesting conditions.
Yes. I wasn't expecting rain, to be honest. I was hoping that it wouldn't. I hope it's just a qualifying session, Jonathan.
No, we hope for a dry race. We know this track is it's tricky all by itself, and you don't need to add any further elements to it.
Yes.
We want some cars to finish the race.
We've got some class guys in the field here, so I'm sure most of them will finish, but this will just like prolong the hurt and concentrate thing.
Pretty packed grid. 16 runners.
Yes. Good to see.
One nice turnout. Good to see Monaco hasn't scared too many people off.
Yeah. No, let's just say, for once, Jonathan, I'm glad to be in the com box with you.
No, it does not look good. Even to be sitting on one of those yachts. It's just wet.
Yeah. So, obviously, Jonathan, we've got a tight championship battle going on.
That's right.
I believe it's
10 points in it.
10 points in it, yeah, between Robbie
10 points in it.
And Nizmex. So that's something to look forward to.
And we don't know what the weather's going to do, but if it's anything like this, we could have a very interesting podium, and then that throws the championship up in the air.
I'm sure.
So
I'm sure we'll get some information a little bit later on about the weather, because I'm too curious. I have to know.
You can't just wait and go in blind.
Yeah. Nah, to be honest, Jonathan, I had enough surprises today, so I don't need any more.
And then you get a wet Monaco.
Yes.
That's why you're happier in the commentary box.
Yes.
I don't think you'd be too impressed at this point.
We're having a look at TnB Ways on the fly. It looks good. Oh, he runs a little bit wide as I say that into the swimming pool section. Yeah, it looks tough out there. The car understeering, oversteering, doing everything.
This is the when it comes to F1 and historic, this is the real deal. This is Monte Carlo.
Yes,
I
indeed.
mean, first race was actually held here in 1929. So guys have been racing this very same circuit, or at least very close to it, with minor alterations for a very long time.
Yeah, rich history.
It's actually one track that really hasn't changed. It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, I think the only thing that changed is probably like safety features, like better barriers and all that, and then obviously advertisement. But basically, yeah, it's the same stretch of road.
I think the kink after the tunnel wasn't original.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how dangerous that corner would be? So I think that was a good call.
Yeah.
Just watching some of the times now coming through, pretty scattered. Pretty difficult to read the times at this stage. With the weather, possible traffic.
It's going on. Oh, let me just, sorry, I was a little bit lax just settling into the com box. I didn't look at, putting up the telemetry and the data up. I'll just do that now. And then have a look. Who's doing what? Got Robbie on the 24.8. Which I suppose is quick because he's like more than a second quicker at the moment.
Definitely 1.3 seconds up. That's a lot of time around this circuit. One of the shorter circuits in Formula 1, if not the shortest. I'm not certain of that, but over 100%. We're looking at what, 70 laps?
Yeah, around about there. 77, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but it's in that region. Let's go on board with Muna. Oh dear, yeah. It looks very tricky out there. It looks borderline like full wet conditions to me. I don't know what you think, Jonathan.
It does seem to be coming down pretty hard, and
because
and also just the effect of the lights, it doesn't help.
Yeah, I think it pronounces it.
Shiny parts of the track.
If you look at the body language,
it makes it look worse.
They're battling.
I think the reflection makes the track look worse.
Yeah. Foresee getting out of the way of VW there.
W now going around, approaching the hairpin. Slowest corner in Formula 1.
Even a hint of understeer at that speed, then you must know it's a bit slippery there.
Going into the tunnel. Now the tunnel is a bit of a tricky situation on wet tires because the track is often dry and you lose temperature and the car tends to squirm around. Sometimes you just got to leave the throttle. Looks like a clear event. Robbie's still top of the table on a 1:24.8. He leads Muna by 1.1 seconds. So the gap's come down slightly, but still a considerable gap.
Yeah.
You got Nismax in third, and DW in fourth. Whoever makes up the top five.
Let's have a look
Well,
at
we have
Spring.
16 runners, so that means we're going to lose someone at the end of this session.
Yeah, most likely. Maybe even two, like last time we only had a top 9 going through.
I don't think Gav understands his penalty.
No, he can participate in Q1. He hasn't been out yet, which is strange. But yeah, he can do Q1.
So I hope he understood his penalty and he's not sitting in the pits
Nah, I'm
for nothing.
thinking that tells me that it might be dry sooner rather than later, and he's just not interested in battling like this. It's a
Maybe it's
possibility. I'm
safer
not
to
sure.
start it. Maybe it's safer to start at the back.
Yeah, true. But
We
grid
still need
position
to
is.
get some information on the weather. We'll get that for you shortly.
Yeah, we'll wait until Q1 is over, and then we'll head down to the pit lane and see what we can find out.
DW is up to third, so he'll be happy with that. And not far off second.
Yeah, and I think he's not pushing too hard. He's obviously got a lot of fuel in the car, doing a good stint, more like practice than qualifying. Oh dear, we've got the judge in the barrier there, just hindering DW there a little bit.
So yeah, we have Timbo just putting on a set of wets, so maybe a
Yeah,
bit of experimentation. And if it works, you'll suddenly go top of the timesheets and people will have to react.
definitely, yeah. This Nouvelle chicane is a tricky one.
I think it's a tricky circuit. The whole thing is tricky.
Yeah, to extract lap time, you have to be inch perfect everywhere the whole time, which makes it tough. DW back in the pits there.
Of course,
Like heavy.
the most wins at this circuit still held by the great Ayrton Senna.
Indeed, yeah.
6 wins.
Six,
Six
yeah.
wins, yeah.
And 5 of them
That
was
is,
consecutive, if I'm not
and
mistaken.
that is in a time era of manual gears, and they reckon that you do about 4,000 gear shifts in a full distance race at Monaco. So, can you imagine that?
Yeah, that will hurt your hands a little bit, I guess.
Taking one hand off the steering to change the gear for 4,000 times.
Yeah.
Oh no. Around Monaco, I want both hands on the steering.
Just having a look at Captain Ice and see how he's faring. Got some good points last time out for the Ferrari team.
Timbo's decided against the wets. He's put the intermediates on and gone out. So, but looking at it from the pits here, the drops seem to be calming down rather than getting worse.
Yeah, it
So
does.
maybe we'll even have a dry Q3.
Yeah, it's
Could be
Monaco,
interesting.
Jonathan. Anything is possible.
It's actually quite a sad sight to see all these yachts drenched.
Oh, yeah, I've got some sources that tells me even old Charlie Whiting brought his boat down here, stating that he's going
Oh,
to have a
lovely.
little bit of a party afterwards. So if there is any incidents, yeah, it will only be dealt with a little bit later, let's call it that.
There we've got Gavin. It seems to be starting a fast lap.
Now, let's cut to
Getting a
him.
bit of a run in the last corner there. Takes a bit of curve, but doesn't cut the corner. Nicely done.
Very strong driver, Gavin. I just wish he gets a clean start and can challenge the guys in the front. Whilst I'm out in Silverstone, he had some front wing damage, and his whole first stint was with a broken wing, and yeah, that hurt his chances.
It's running a bit wide there around the hairpin. A bit longer than he would have liked. We're going into the tunnel. Crucial here, towards the end of the tunnel where it just bends a little bit, it's crucial not to lose traction.
Yeah.
Can be done so easily, especially on intermediates, on a dry piece of track. A little bit of contact there. Shouldn't lose too much time, but not ideal.
And then also just worth a mention, Josh got a quali ban as well. Well, only Q2 and a Q3 quali ban, but I see he decided to go out.
So if that remains the same, he'll be starting from the back of the grid.
Yes.
It's
Which
a quick
can
driver.
be,
Maybe could be interesting.
yeah. Yeah, something tells me it's going to be dry, Jonathan. I've got a feeling.
Well, that was fifth place by Gavin, and I watched the lap. There was a few errors in there. He's definitely got more in the car. He can close that 2 seconds down. So also a promising time.
Oh dear. Yeah, as you say that, he just nudges the barrier at the chicane there.
Very difficult to get caught up in traffic here in Monaco, and
Yeah.
to just simply stay out of each other's way. Even letting leaders go past when you're being lapped, it's actually quite difficult
Yeah.
to get people out of the way and keep yourself out of the barriers.
Yeah, this is gonna be a test. A genuine test. And Gavin decides to, I think he's retiring, I'm not sure.
But Nismek's currently in fourth, 1.5 seconds behind Robbie, who's in first. So
Yeah.
he'll be hoping the conditions change and that both times can switch around, because at the moment it's a very good result for Robbie. Leads the championship by 10 points.
I haven't done the maths, Jonathan, but obviously
I
Nismex must win the race, and Robbie
Nismax would have to win, and Robbie would have to finish, I think, either fourth or fifth.
Yeah.
Either fourth or fifth. That I would need to confirm, but we have lots
Yeah.
of time. It's 100% race distance. And I have Google.
Yes, you go, son. You go.
I know a few things, but when I don't, I've got Google.
Yeah. But Google doesn't know as much as my girlfriend, I can tell you that much, Jonathan.
And look at that, the top just changes up.
Yep.
Muno goes fastest briefly, and then Nismax takes it away just a couple of seconds later. And maybe he heard me.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure
Maybe
he
he
just
heard
wants
me,
to...
maybe he didn't like it.
He just wants to show Robbie, listen, I'm also here. I'm ready to fight.
Shouldn't be listening to us while you're driving, it's dangerous, boy. Can't blame me for your accidents later. It's almost like he heard me. That was a really good lap time. I'm actually hoping that the Q2 or Q3 we may see dry conditions. Could make it interesting.
I'm also hoping the same thing.
So I can see the drops getting less. Will there be enough time?
Oh, have this. Look. This is F1 2017, and as we know, anything can happen. I've seen rain in the desert. So you never know. You never know.
Yes, that's true. I've actually seen it in a few deserts. I've seen it at Bahrain and Abu Dhabi.
Steffi just had a little bit of a incident there. Doing well in P6. He's ahead of some quick drivers.
Problem with this circuit is with all the other circuits on the calendar, there's always a place where you can make a mistake, you can slip up, and you can still save it. But at this track, it's unforgiving, and
Yeah.
the smallest error, and it can just destroy your lap if you're lucky, and not your car.
Definitely, yeah.
Very unforgiving. Sessions come to an end. Seems like Josh will be eliminated.
Yeah.
But
Oh, wow.
he had a ban for the next two sessions. So
Yeah. Well, while we're waiting for the next session to start, I just want to mention a couple of things. First off, our sponsor, G4 Sim.
yes, that's right. We have a sponsor. Our first.
Awesome company down here in South Africa. If you need a gaming rig, there's only one place to contact, and that is G4 Sim. They do rigs and steering wheels as well, Jonathan. They've got the whole tutti. And if you
Go to
mention
their website,
that,
check it out. They've got some interesting stuff. It looks good.
just
And
mention turbos and
I've got
bullets,
some ideas of my own.
and they'll even throw in a couple of things that they'll work out a plan for you. Maybe even a cup holder or embroidering of a seat. So yeah, go check them out. They've got a website, g4sim.com, and go check them out. And I think a good plan to do now is to go down to the pits to one of the drivers, DW, and see if he can give us some information on the weather coming. The vet, any news? Oh,
As in a intermediate or a full wet race?
and wait,
That's yeah. It did look that way in the beginning of the session. It looked a bit much for intermediates.
yeah, the cars were snaking around quite a bit.
I actually thought it was. I actually thought it was getting drier. I was wrong.
Yeah.
Got reports
Well
that the rain may get heavier.
Well, let's hope Jeff is reading the radar wrong somehow, and he's wrong. And we'll just hope against hope, but yeah, anyway.
Gav has retired from the session. He's serving his qualifying ban.
Yeah. And indeed, we've got one driver kicked, which is Josh, who's following in Charlie's instructions.
We actually had two drivers eliminated.
Yeah, who's the
We
other
had
one?
16.
Oh, Steffi's there.
Oh, look at that.
Saxman's there.
Don't they always surprise you? We've spoken about this many times. That's why I say I'm not certain on the numbers of who gets eliminated, because the game sort of decides.
Yeah, it's got a mind of its own. Anyway, we still love it though.
Absolutely. Why would we be doing this?
Definitely, Jonathan.
Watching Wes now going into the tunnel. He's on an outlap. Just getting a feel for conditions. Obviously just trying to see how far can you brake into the corners, how much can you accelerate, trying to get a feel for the track. But I don't know, to me, I don't actually see any raindrops. It seems like it's getting drier.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the same thing. Just watching Timbo.
I think maybe Jeff hacked the weather report.
Yeah, you never know with Jeff. That guy loves his crayons, definitely. Won't be surprised if he eats them as well. Maybe that's where the problem lies. Anyway.
We actually have a South African driver that's won here in Monaco on 2 occasions, Jody Scheckter. It's
Yes.
also one of his favourite circuits. Won here twice, if late 70s, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
77 and 79, I think. Something like that.
Yeah.
But he was also Formula One world champion in a Ferrari.
Yep.
South Africa's only Formula One world champion.
Well, at least we got one, Jonathan.
Well, I think there's more countries that don't than that do.
Yeah.
And he's now a farmer in California, USA.
Yeah, a very successful one, I believe.
A very successful farmer.
Well, I suppose if you go quickly your whole life, when you get a little bit older, you just want to take it slow, I suppose.
And then what a better place to do it than in the winelands of California.
Yeah, agreed.
Anyway, we don't have any times up as of yet. As I say that, first lap we get a 1:25.7. It's beaten immediately by Robbie. That's a 1:24.3. So first gauntlet is thrown down.
It's 3/10 off, and this makes us time in Q1. But I'm pretty sure the guys are still just feeling around. And yeah, I'm not seeing a drop of rain, Jonathan, to be honest. So I wonder if we can have a little bit of...
I don't see rain, and actually, if you concentrate on the tires, there's not a lot of spray. I don't see a lot of spray. So I think we may have a dry Q3, and that will shake things up.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Guys that have maybe been battling with the wet conditions maybe come to life in Q3, and
yeah. Well, let's hope the Renault Jeff is
going off there, breaking a bit of his wing, going into the barrier, bit of oversteer. Tricky conditions right now, especially on it's not wet, but it's not dry, and now the tires, they're neither there. They're not right for dry or wet. And you don't know what to do. It's a confusing 3 or 4 laps.
Yeah, I like to call this period just plain simple snotty. It's just snotty. Having a look at Sackman, I'm not too familiar with him, unfortunately. But I believe
he's a driver from the Sunday Night League.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I believe it's the first time he's joining us.
Yes.
Perhaps,
and he's actually taken a break. He's actually taken a break from the game. Yeah, he's making a return.
Okay. Well, 100% night race at Monaco in the rain.
His debut 100% distance.
Yeah, I just wanted to say
and
that.
And it's at Monaco in the rain.
Exactly.
So
he knows how to pick him, eh?
I've had something similar. I know how that feels.
Yeah. Yes, this must bring back some flashbacks for you.
Except I only knew I was racing 20 minutes before. That was fun.
Yes.
Looking at the time so far, we've got the 1:24.3 by Robbie. He's in first. It's followed by 1:24.4. So very close. Nismack's in second. And those are our championship contenders, so that's what we want to see, first and second. Fighting for the title. Munna in third, a little bit behind, about half a second. And then Wes, fourth. It's been in the top 5 consistently. And we've got one of our newer drivers, Jean, in fifth with a 1:27.1. So there's a bit of a gap there between the top 4 to the rest.
Yeah.
And obviously we're still waiting for DW to make the time. I know he'll break into that top 4.
I'm thinking he's waiting for it to dry out a little bit more. I've just got that sneaky suspicion.
just to see if you can go out on those, go out on the slicks.
Yeah.
But in conditions like this, surely you'd go for the hardest compound available of slick, because the track temperature is cold.
Yeah, on paper that is the better tire to be on. You know, when it's snotty like this, because they work better in lower temperatures. But yeah, look,
Because the
it's
ultra
not a,
softs, I don't think the ultra softs are going to be activated by this track.
yeah, not 100%, but they by no stretch of the mean slow. They're just not performing 100%. Another thing, it's good to see Muna. He hasn't been racing the past 2 weeks.
A bit steam back is an extremely fast driver.
Yeah, on his day
And
he's unbeatable. So hopefully he
always
can.
up at the top, one of the quicker guys. And yeah, it's great to see him back, because that's what you want. You know, you want competitive racing at the top.
I think he's gonna give some Mercedes and some Red Bull something to think about a little bit later on.
Watching Amuna is out on circuit.
DW is also out. He's on the Inters, so maybe not enough time for the track to dry out.
See, Wes is currently sitting in the pits. He hasn't left the pits, but he's sitting with a set of ultras. So
Yeah,
he's sitting waiting just in case.
if I know Wesley's a little bit of a strategy master. He's always the first one to pull the trigger when conditions change. Good to see. It's nice to have somebody willing to take a risk.
Having raced with Robbie a couple of times on this circuit, I can tell you that he's good on this circuit over a race distance. He might not get pole, but over a race distance he's consistent, and I've seen him win on at least 3 occasions.
Okay.
So I think it's one of his favorites. Not that he'll admit it, because nobody admits it.
True that.
Just looking here in the pit lane, seems like a few more cars have switched onto ultras. Nobody's left the pits just yet.
I see
Is that,
Flicky, I'm following
is that
the judge.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's Judge. Judge has left the pits. He's on ultra softs. He's going to be the guinea pig.
Let's just go on board with him and see what the conditions are like. I can see a little bit of spray still. Locking up a tad bit. It's on an outlap, he's not on a fast one. Just feeling out the conditions.
There's definitely patches that are... He goes through a patch occasionally and there's a bit of spray. So, still tricky. Gotta be careful. Basically what I mean is don't drive like it's dry. It's not.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah, you have to add like 5 to 10 meters to your braking zone. Turn in that little bit
like it's dry, you're gonna meet the arm curve.
Yeah.
No runoff area or gravel traps here.
It seems like braking is a little bit of an issue. He's locking up quite frequently. But another thing is, the judge
also one of the drivers that has switched off his ABS recently.
Yes, yeah.
So,
it's been
so a
doing
great
very
performance
well.
considering.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's actually one of the more difficult things to switch off.
I think in this specific season, he's definitely the most improved driver out of everybody. Oh dear, as I say, that commentator's curse, he knocks the wing a little bit, but we'll look over there.
It's weird how that works. I always thought it was because they could hear you. But it still affects them.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll go off him and then give him some better luck and just scan who's doing what. Let's go to his teammate.
What the other horse is doing.
Yeah,
sorry. Springbok Gamers in 8th.
Also
on the line, he activates DRS, so that indicates that the track is dry enough for DRS.
Yeah.
So it is the right tyre. Now, if you look at Staffy, he's actually on super softs, so it'll be interesting to see what he does.
I just wanted to say, I think I would have stuck on some supers. And have a look what they do.
Sackman also seems to have thrown on supers, and that Springbok gamer, he's lost it.
Oh dear.
Going through Casino, he's lost it. He's sideways, and that's that lap. Just I guess, like I say, driving it like it's dry. It's not dry yet.
We've got a little bit of a race going on here. Staffy stuck behind. What? It looks like Captain Ice there. And neither one of them wants to slow down. So
it's, you know what, it's an incredibly difficult position to be in qualifying around here. You know, you might be looking at your delta and you're doing pretty well, and somebody comes up behind you and you're like, well, I don't want to give this lap up.
Yeah.
And it's also a track that if you let somebody by, it's impossible to not lose time. It's
both
an incredibly difficult track, I'd say, for traffic.
Just warming up some wheel-to-wheel skills here, it looks like, which is good to see. Let's go up a little
track
bit.
That I've won a few 5-lappers at, because of my defense around here is quite easy.
Yeah, no, well, your defensive skills in general is excellent. Your race etiquette
no, but around here they're very easy.
I wish I could take some...
It's not difficult to make your car wide. Getting some lap times now coming over the line. And this Max gets a 1:16.9, so the lap time's coming down dramatically. We've got Robbie, almost 8 tenths of a second off. But these guys have basically just got to keep on going, because if you can get another lap in, this lap is this track is improving.
Yeah.
But now we've got a bit of a traffic jam here, and potentially 3 cars have their flying laps ruined.
Yeah, let's just see who's on the bubble. DW9th. As I speak, he goes down to 10th. But completing a flying lap, so he'll go quicker. We've got John just behind him. Springbok came and left
want to go quicker.
Yeah.
Just approaching some traffic, and he's in 10th, so just a little bit of risk there. There's a traffic in front of him, so you'll need to improve.
You'll need to. It looks like he won't be able to get another lap in.
He's like, oof, that could put you off. Nicely done so far. Little bit of curve there. What about the straight here? Good exit. Activates DRS. Over the line.
Oh dear.
And third. Look at that. That's a good improvement.
Yeah, definitely.
And this circuit is just going to get better every time they go around. Yeah. Everyone who puts down a little bit of rubber, this track is going to get faster.
Yeah, now we've got
Muna. Q3 should be interesting.
Muna's on the bubble now, and he's got horrendous traffic in front of him. He's got a Ferrari and a horse in front of him, and they're like battling to pump in the quick one.
It's actually one of the reasons why here at TnB we run full qualifying, is to avoid the traffic situation of short qualifying.
Yeah.
Where everybody tries to make their laps in 12 minutes. But every now and then, and especially at a track like Monaco, you're going to have situations like this where you just can't get a decent lap in.
No, Muna still goes 4th, which is good. Captain Ice in 5th, which is just ahead of him. They safe. Timbo in there, Sackman as well, the judge in, Staffy as well. And then Fossey. Well done, Fossey.
Fossey making up the top 10.
No.
Not sure what happened with Wes.
I think
maybe the conditions and the tyres catching him out.
Yeah, he left the session early thinking he's safe, and well, I'm thinking he thought he was safe, and Yeah,
Because
the
that's 9
tractors.
seconds off the pace. That's definitely a wet time. So going into Q3 now. This is the interesting part. Where they're going to start. And I'd say, yeah, if you don't start on the front 2 rows, you probably want to start at the back. Just going into that first corner. Plus, we don't know what the weather's going to do.
Yeah.
Seems like the weather report is completely wrong.
Just
So we
looking
don't know.
at the chat here, Jonathan, I see Wesley Hampson in there saying evening, gents. Are you Wesley? Hope you enjoying the race or the qualifying for now.
It's only going to get better. We're going into Q3 and with a drying track, with a track that's getting faster lap by lap, and I think we might still see an interesting grid order because I know some of the guys battle in the wet, and I think they'll come to life in the next session.
Definitely. Well, how wrong did the Reynolds Jeff get it?
Just looking at the laps there. That's a 1:15.9 versus a 1:16.9. So Robbie's got a second.
Yeah, it also depends on exactly when it was set. Because I know Robbie said that one right at the end.
Set that. The later you set it, the better.
Anyways, we're heading to Q3 now.
Waiting to see what the pit lane looks like, and it looks right to me.
It does, yes.
I don't see anything.
And again, Jonathan, instead of 10, we've got 9.
And again, like I said before,
so poor Fossey.
It's a bit of a lottery because well, Fossey's there.
No, yeah,
so now I'm really confused. Fossey qualified in 10th, so he made the session, but there's only 9 runners, and Fossey's there. So,
oh dear.
So it seems like somebody who was originally in the top 10 didn't make the session.
Something's going on.
Wait, where's DW? Oh, there he is.
I don't see Timbo. That's the person I don't see, because I know he was in the top 10. Timbo Boot, what happened?
Maybe an internet problem.
No,
it's actually one of our international runners. So sometimes, hopefully he didn't disconnect while the screen was loading, because sometimes you miss the session.
I didn't see him pop up at the bottom saying that he left, so I'm also confused. Dumbstruck, Jonathan. Dumbstruck.
Very strange. Or it was just simply a lottery.
Yeah, you never know. Maybe it just popped out for a quick refreshment. Don't know.
But Newsmax out on circuit. He's on an out lap. It's the first car out. So eager to go out there and make a lap time. Captain Ice sitting in the pit lane patiently. Sackman is out on track. He's currently in the tunnel. Everyone just on an out lap. And now is the track dry?
No,
or is there still element that's not quite?
No,
so the guys need to take that into account and just, you know, like you say, brake a bit earlier and just.
Yeah, look,
don't go quite full out.
It's not 100%, but it's damn near close to it, as far as I can see. So we'll see what the lap times are like. I'm predicting quick mid 12s towards the 11s.
That's what I saw earlier today when the guys were practicing.
Yeah.
Basically, I think the quickest time I saw was a 1:12.3. I think we'll have that pace. Maybe a bit lower. Maybe they were sandbagging in practice.
No, maybe, but now also just taking.
There's the first time going over 1:13.4. So Still not quite where we predicted, but the track is going to get faster.
Oh.
Look at that, a 112.0 by Muna.
Yeah, there we go. Showing some
And
wheels on that McLaren now.
almost dipping into the 111s, and telling Robbie can't beat that.
Let's have a look at Nismax coming across the line, yeah. Sticks in a 12-1, so close at the top.
I tell you, Robbie won't be too disappointed with that time. Just 3/10 of a second off the pace. And on the second run, I think this track's going to feel even better. EW going around in the Renault. We go for another run, or is he going to come in? Just watching Sackman going around the track, currently in 6th place. Got a best lap time of a 1:14.9, so definitely still needs to make up some time. But for a debut at Monaco, not bad.
Yeah, definitely.
So far so good. You've qualified for Q3. That's already an impressive debut.
Definitely.
We also mustn't forget the driver Josh. He actually won round 9. Extremely fast driver, and he'll be coming from the back. So it'll be interesting to see how he navigates through the traffic.
Jonathan, you're gonna have to give me a minute. I've just got a small technical issue here. I'll see you in a little bit.
No problem. But we're looking at the order at the moment. We've got Muna. He's got that 112.0, almost dipping into the 111s. Second place, we've got Nismax 112.1, so 1/10 of a second. We've got Robbie in third with a 112.3, so nothing in it in the top 3 there, just 3/10 of a second in the first 3 positions. Got DW in fourth. He's got a 113.4, but I think if he waits towards the end of the session, he can improve that time. Track's only going to get faster. Sackman on debut. He's in 6th with a 114.9. I'm sure you will also find some more time on that second run. And then currently the last man to have set a time is the judge. He's got a 115.8, just battling around the streets of Monaco. Like was mentioned earlier, he's switched off some assists recently, and when you bear that in mind, he's doing really well. No action out on track at the moment. Everyone just sitting in the pits. Not a lot to look at, not a lot to talk about. So if anyone can hear me, leave the pits. And there we go. Got Sackman leaving the pits in the Salva. Currently in 6th. So on the outlap, he'll be looking to improve on that time, 1:14.9. It's 2.9 seconds off the pace. So, and that's a lot of time around a short circuit like Monaco. Going around the hairpin into the tunnel, iconic tunnel. Hey man, how's it? I've got DW here on the line with me. How's it going? Yes. Yes. What about the weather report on the race? If you look at it now, has it changed, or is it still saying what it said? Okay, so what I can tell the viewers back home is that the weather report says rain, but the weather report also said it should be raining right now. So we could see rain, but maybe not. It's a lottery and we're going to wait for the game to decide for us.
Yeah, I think the Renault Jeff really got that one wrong a little bit. So are you feeling DW confident?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, no problem.
Enjoy. Make it a quick one. We just had the vet there on the line, just giving us a bit of an update on the weather. But unfortunately, it seems like it's going to be one of those weekends where we can't really rely on the report. The report says it's going to rain, but also says it should be raining right now. So we're just going to have to wait and see, and I guess the drivers are going to have to do the same. You'll find out when you're on the grid.
Definitely.
Not ideal for setup.
No.
Got Sackman going around in 6th trying to improve on that lap time, but I don't think he's going to do that. He lost a bit of his end plate. So Monaco really unforgiving. And sometimes it's just difficult to get a full lap around this track without breaking something.
Definitely.
Like Nelson PK said, the closest thing to Monaco is riding your bicycle around your living room.
Well, he's not wrong, let's say that.
It can be done, but it really shouldn't be there. Considering the big glass table in the middle of my lounge, I don't think I should try that. Probably end badly. I'd be away from commentary for quite some time.
I'm just having a look at... Oh. Sorry, my
Think you
remote...
just lost your voice there?
Yeah, my remote just decided it's flat now. Let me just pop it in there quickly. Yeah, as I was saying, I was just having a look at Robbie there.
There's 39 seconds left in the session. Nursemax goes fastest. He dips into the 111s.
Yeah,
And not only does he dip into the 111s, he dips deep into the 111s. That's a 111.6.
Yeah, that's a mega lap.
And look at that, Robbie goes through and just about equals it. He goes through, that's a 111.7. So those top three have switched in no time.
Yeah, and Muna has also just started a new fast one now. So we'll see what he can do.
We're gonna ride with Muna.
Oof,
This next fastest 111.3.
Yeah, that's some good pace.
These guys are going pretty much a second faster than I thought they would. I was predicting the low 12s.
Yeah, no, I was thinking low 12s, high 11s, but yeah, this is quick. On these track conditions, it's quick.
An 11.3 on a track that was wet not so long ago. I think it's that is a great lap time.
Robbie just crosses the line on his last run, unable to better it. So there we go. Where's
Watching
Muna?
Muna now, the only man that can improve, I'd say. Yeah, it is the only man that can improve, the only one on track, and that's that for him.
No, he bottled it slightly and he decided to call it a day for qualifying.
So that's what it's going to look like. Top 9, because I don't have a top 10 for you. We've got Nizmax in first. He's got that 1:11.3. That was a killer that time. Second place, Robbie. So we've got the 2 championship contenders in first and second. That's what we want to see. Muna in third. DW in fourth. Staffy in fifth. Sackman on debut in sixth. The judge in seventh. And then Captain Ison 4C in 8th and 9th did not set a time.
Yeah, some proper quick times there, Jonathan. So we all set for a humdinger of a battle up in front between the 2 title challengers, which is awesome to see.
I think we're going to have 2 races. I think we're going to have a race at the front between the title challengers, hopefully. And I think we're going to have a race in the midfield.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and then all the chaos of overtaking and lapping people.
And the rain.
And here we go. We're in the pit lane for the start of the Monaco Grand Prix. And yes, you can see it. I can see it. And what can I say? I don't know what to say. I did not want this.
Yeah, no, I can hear the disappointment in your voice.
I hope my tweet earlier on in the day did not influence this.
I don't see Josh. And somebody else is missing.
We've just got one of our drivers who's not here today, Little Piece. He's just sending a message through, saying good luck to all of the drivers.
Cheers, George.
Another quick driver.
Captain Ice disconnected. That's the message I'm getting, yeah? Yes, indeed, I don't see him there. So hopefully, there we go, as we speak of him, he manages
Captain
to join.
Ice left the session. I just saw the banner that said left the session.
I thought he was joining.
Yeah, I just saw the banner that said left the session. So we've got TnB Wes already disqualified, so he'll be sitting on the grid.
Yeah.
Luckily it's a short lap, so he won't be there too long. But this is going to be a long race in the wet. 78 laps, 77, 78, I'm not sure, we'll see at the start. Yeah, there we go, 78 laps, I was right. And it's going to be a long race in the wet. It slows down those lap times, so it's going to be 78 long laps.
Yeah, definitely. So we're in for the long haul, yeah, Jonathan?
Yeah, we're going to have one of those over 2-hour Monaco races.
Yes,
so long as it's not one of those 4-hour Canada races.
Yeah.
I might need to do that in shifts.
We'll
whether you're on your own for the next hour.
Yeah, we'll tag each other
back.
in. I just wanted to say, we'll just like tag each other in there. Anyway.
Like the 24-hour Le Mans commentators. We'll just leave you in silence randomly for half an hour at a time.
Well, forming up on the grid now.
Forming up on the grid. We've got 5 different manufacturers in the top 5, so that's good to see. And that's what we need to see in real F1. 5 red lights, and it's out, and it's go. It's a good start by Nizmax.
Good start by
Robbie
Nizmax.
getting a little bit stuck on the line. Muna coming right up behind him. Clean first corner. Which is very important.
Yeah, it
Seems
looks
like it's getting a bit messy at the back there, but nothing too severe.
Yeah, it looks quite clean.
Everyone away cleanly. I don't see anyone losing positions. So currently, as it stands, we're on the first lap. Nizmax leads from Robbie, from Muna, from DW. So that top 4 hasn't changed from the start. We've got Staffy in 5th, Sackman in 6th, on debut. Got a feel for debut. Look at these conditions.
Yeah,
Got the judge in 7th, doing a good job so far. track's all about keeping it clean and track position.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
staying out of the pits and concentration.
We've got
Gavpig's in 8th. One of our
jumping,
faster drivers. He's in 8th.
jumping 5 positions. I'm seeing here on the chart. Him and
Yeah,
Death Seeker
definitely.
both.
So he'll be looking to come up the order, and
Yeah, he would
he'll
want
be one of
to.
those interesting drivers to watch.
He would
But he
want
won't want damage coming up the order. He needs to come up the order, but he needs to do it carefully.
to. Yeah. Well, we've got a titanic battle here. Carrying on here from 7 downwards. And it looks like we've got a couple of drivers in the pits. We've got 3.
But Death Seeker hasn't given up on that 7th place. He's going to challenge Gavin.
Oh yes, for sure.
Maybe Red Bull wants to get on the phone with their junior team. So just lay off there a little.
I'm sure.
And if it was Max, he would say no.
Definitely. I think Wesley would also say no. And as I say that, he taps the wall, loses his end plate. Oh dear.
This commentary curse thing is really working.
Yeah, it's
I'm
every time I
experiencing it
jump to a driver and comment something about him, he goes into the wall. So
I think we should just speak bad about everyone.
yeah,
We'll have
maybe
a
that
clean
will.
race.
Well, let's go
I
back
think
to
it's the compliments.
Has to be. Oh dear, I jumped to Robbie, and as I jump to him, he goes into the wall, goes into the pits. Front wing
Luckily
change.
that happened just in front of the pit, so he had minimum time on the track with that broken wing.
Yeah,
Dived into the pit lane, and it is wet conditions, so who knows what the
Yeah.
strategies are for these guys. What can you go well, surely you can't go to the end.
no, I wouldn't think so.
That's insane.
I'm just scared to jump on anybody else. As soon as I go on them to view them, they crash.
Now we've got Fossey in 9th place. He's actually coming up behind his teammate. He'll be surprised to see the Merc sitting in 8th and 9th, and I don't need my maths to be that good to tell you Nizmax would win the championship right
Yeah,
now.
definitely.
So Robbie's got a lot of work to do. Got to come up the order. And more importantly, he's got some interesting drivers there in the midfield that he's got to clear.
Definitely.
Springbok Gamer is a man I've spent a lot of time trying to get past, and Timber and Gavin, well, we know, exciting.
Yeah,
So-
definitely.
It's going to be interesting getting through that. And let's not forget Staffy in 5th, also a very
Again,
fast driver.
Robbie taps the back of Springbok Gamer and he loses some elements. I saw some carbon fiber going. Oh
Goes
dear.
into 8th place, and he will be livid in
He's
that
already-
helmet right
yeah,
now.
Look at him
Brand new
understeering.
wing, hasn't got a full lap of use out of it.
Oh dear.
And look at that, he can't even get around.
Yeah.
He needs to go back in. Yep, that's 2 pit stops in 2 laps.
Oh
And
dear.
that's not what the championship leader would have wanted.
Well, let's go back to the front and see.
Mechanics, I don't think the mechanics got a chance to go inside.
No, I bet I'll stay outside there. Just get a cup
They're
of
probably
coffee and
standing
just
there from the last stop.
get some probably about 3 or 4 wings just ready there.
Well, that makes Fossey the lead Merc driver in 8th place. So Robbie's got a lot of work to do. He actually comes out in 13th. So
He's showing he's 58 seconds behind the leader.
no, I see the same thing, 59.
Yeah,
But
so some work to do, but the man is
a lot
quick.
of work to do. But we know this is Monte Carlo. This is TnB 100% race distance. There's a long way to go. Many mistakes can be made, and we know he's quick around this track, so it makes for a combination of a good race.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll be back in the top 5. So and now we've got to watch Nismax. Is he going to keep it clean?
Well, I'm just going
Because
on board with
that's
him,
all
and
he needs to do now. That's all he needs to do now. If he keeps it clean, keeps it out of the barriers, keeps the gap to second,
yeah, he looks.
we'll win the championship.
He looks well under control.
Unless Robbie can find his way back to the top 4. I'll tell you that his teammate has dropped down to 10th. So the Merc's just picking up one solitary point at the moment. They'll be hoping this is not what happens in Monaco on Sunday for the real thing.
Yeah, definitely. Let's try to see who's got what. Yeah, DW with almost 5 laps spare fuel. Obviously in the rain you don't need that much. So I would have thought he would have underfilled, but he's saving now.
Around Monaco in these sort of conditions, I actually find that most of the track I do it in lean.
Yeah. Especially in the rain.
Because of the wheel spin and because of the traction, and you actually just do better in lean because you're not spinning so much.
Yeah.
So I actually tend to underfuel on this track because I know I'm going to be in lean for so long.
In a 100% race, you can probably do without like 10 kilograms of fuel.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
We know the effect that when the car is full, that car feels completely different.
Oh yes. Reminds me.
Well, I'd say a lot of guys make the mistake of doing all their practice in time attack. Because that car is going to feel nothing like the car you get at the start of the race.
DW coming up to lap people, which is like confusing a little bit.
We're only on lap 6.
Yeah, lap 6 and lapping people, but these are all the gentlemen that has done pit stops.
Well, that's what Robbie will not want to see. That blue flags, pulls over to the side, and oh well, that's not what you want.
No.
Get lapped on lap 6 of Monte Carlo.
Got a beautiful helicopter shot of DW there.
Absolutely going through the hairpin, I saw that. Would be an interesting innovation for the real thing. Make Monaco a night race. It's possible.
Oh.
I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah. I think the only solitary reason why they will probably not do it is track temperatures and this not being a proper circuit.
Track. That's right.
Yeah. But anyway.
Just looking at the runners on lap 7. We've got Nismax doing a good job. It's opened up that gap in the last 2 or 3 laps from 2 seconds to 3.8 seconds. That's actually just gone up as I was saying that. So he seems to be in control. Just got to be careful when you're in front all by yourself in the wet.
Yeah.
You might just have a moment where you just not technically fall asleep, but you know what I mean. Just have a moment.
Yeah,
you brake too late and you have no idea why you did that. You've done that corner right 50 times before that.
You're thinking about something else, or maybe fuel settings, or when to put, and it just takes that split second.
Well, he's hearing us and the commentator's curse is not working. He goes over the line to set the fastest lap.
Yeah.
And the leader is in control.
Runs a bit wide there in Casino Square. Coming up towards the hairpin.
I can also tell you that these guys that were in the top 4, in the top 3, they qualified faster than the fastest pole lap ever set at this track. It's actually a 1:12.1 by Kimi Raikkonen.
Yeah, well done.
So yeah.
I'm sure Kimi would be on his yacht somewhere also just having a look.
But surprisingly, actually the fastest lap ever set in a race, not in a qualifying session, is actually held by Sergio Perez.
What, in Force India?
Yeah, that's right.
That's interesting. As you see, Timbo getting a 3-second time penalty. Not exactly sure for what.
So that's your stats for the race.
Yeah, Statman, we love you. Interesting to see.
I'll see if I can come up with some more.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. You are a legend. But I can tell you something, Jonathan. I can see why Nismax is gaining time on Muna. Muna has got front wing damage. His whole right hand side is missing basically. So he will be battling.
So everything falling into Nismax's hands at this stage. With the man in second, unable to really challenge with a damaged car.
Yeah. Well,
a championship contender.
I'm thinking
sitting in 8th. So he's already made his way back to the points.
He's gone up.
He's actually made his way back to the points very quietly. And yeah, look at that, picked up 6th position since the start of the race. Nicely done. We've got just looking at the pit stops, I can tell you that the top 5 drivers, that's Nismax, Muna, DW, Gavin, and Springbok Gamer, have not stopped. Everyone else on circuit has stopped. So only 5 drivers have not been to the pits in the first 10 laps of this race.
Well, as we say, that Muna goes in to get that wing replaced.
Got Staffy, Wes, Timbo, and Fossey all on 1. Got Robbie, Sackman, Jean, Death Seeker all on 2. And the judge, unfortunately, 3 pit stops, 10 laps into the race.
Oh,
Being
Gavin.
a bit of a nightmare here. Having a bit of a nightmare in the Principality.
I was just going to comment on Gavin, saying that he's doing a fantastic job, coming up 9 spots into 4th place. See, and as I went on to
that's not even status quo. There's nothing we can do about that. That's telepathic.
Yeah, he just...
It's like, I'm just watching, don't crash.
Oh dear.
What can we do?
Yeah, it doesn't look bad. It just looks like an end plate. But it will still...
Now I wonder about these conditions. Unfortunately, we don't have any driver on call with us during the race. They're all obviously very concentrated. So, it's going to be interesting to see, is that weather report correct? Are we going to have this weather till the end? Is it just going to linger? Or is it going to dry up? Or is it going to get worse?
I'm going to call it, Jonathan. I say it's going to dry up by lap 62.
Because I don't know if it's my imagination, but I think it looked worse at the start.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
And then you've also got to remember that over 100% race distance, the track takes a lot longer to dry out because everything is according to timescale. So it's not going to dry out in 1 lap.
We've got Gavin in the pits and he's serving a penalty as well. I'm not sure for what. Getting held up there.
Also just confirm that Death Seeker has just got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So that would usually indicate corner cutting, but considering the track we're at, I don't know what that penalty is related to. I don't think it's corner cutting. Because if you corner cut, you lose the wheel.
Yeah.
Okay, well, just as I say that, race control, Gav gets a 3-second penalty confirmed for corner cutting. So where do you corner cut? Is it the first corner?
Yeah, it has to be. But he was coming out of the pits, so I'm also not sure how that one works. Hopefully it's not a glitch going on. I'm just going on board the second place man, the vet that got promoted. And I can see, unfortunately, he's also missing a little element of his wing, yeah?
Amazing helicopter shot now of DW as he goes through. Is he carrying damage?
Yeah, he's getting damage on the right front of the front wing.
Obviously just trying his best, seeing that his pace is not too bad, Winner is not catching, and maybe just trying to stay out there and eliminate the pit stop.
Yeah, I believe that's what he's trying to do. But he needs to keep an eye on
As I was saying earlier about a lap ago, there's only 5 cars on track that hadn't made a pit stop. Well, now there's only 3 cars on track that haven't made a pit stop. That's the 2 leaders, first and second, there's Max and DW. And the other one, surprisingly, is Springbok Gamer having a clean race in 5th. Just keeping it clean. And he might find himself in a promising position towards the end of the race if he keeps that up.
Definitely. Some good driving
No
there
pit
from
stops,
Ate.
no contact.
And we all know he's not a big fan of the wet conditions as well. But just showing his class.
Not a fan of the wet conditions, and it must also be mentioned that he's one of our drivers that doesn't use assists.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something you should mention, especially in these sort of conditions.
Definitely.
The amount of extra effort it takes. It's really good performance. Gavin's up in 4th, so he's actually come through quite nicely to get a good result.
Sorry, Jonathan, I'm just going back to Robbie. I see Wesley passed him on track. And Wesley passes Steffi now as well. So life not very easy at the back for the championship leader.
Sitting in 7th and sitting in a sandwich of cars, which is where he doesn't want to be. If he could get some clean air and put some purple laps in and close this gap, but at the moment, there's contact. There's contact and there's more contact. Oh my word. What happened there? Was that contact or was that lag?
I don't know. I believe...
Because I saw the contact and right at the end it jumped. I think that was lag. I don't see damage on that front wing.
Definitely, and Wesley is still in front of Steffi and Robbie actually. So it's a complete desync actually. Well, that's what I suspect.
Now that gap's opened up. Battle's not as intense as it was. But now here we go. Getting close. Going into the hairpin. Slowest corner in F1, and look at that around the outside. He's gonna clip his wing.
Oi. Yeah, it's not the place to try that.
That is not where you would pass. I don't. Well, the championship leader, and he sees it slipping away. It would be his first TnB championship, and obviously he's not ready to give that up. I don't know if that was lag or if that was contact through the hairpin, because that was a very suspicious move.
Yeah, I know Wesley.
I don't know why he would make that move.
Wesley's one of the guys that's looking at new internet, because he doesn't have the best internet, and it's showing again tonight. Unfortunately,
could have very well been a connection issue.
Because there it is, Jonathan. We saw Robbie pass Wesley, and now
that's right.
Robbie is
and now he's behind
him again. Yeah.
No, definitely. So just having a bit of a technical problem. Just bear with us until the timing sheet corrects himself.
Excuse me, Jonathan. Sorry.
Yeah. But Sean, He's currently in 10th place in the final points paying position, and he's actually made 3 stops. So must be quite chaotic at the back. If you've made 3 stops and you still got 4 people behind you.
Yeah, definitely.
Got Death Seeker now on the top of the table for the pit stops. The league that I've created for this race. Who's going to get the most pit stops? Death Seeker currently leads that list. He leads with 4 pit stops after 15 laps.
Okay, yeah,
So
that's not good reading.
So
Gavin
Toro Rosso, they're going to
also-
be wanting their overpay.
Gavin also
They're going to
in
be
again.
wanting overtime.
Red Bull boys putting out another front wing on that Red Bull.
He's going in the pits, and he went into the pits at the wrong time, because now the whole string of cars, including Robbie and Wes, have gone through, and he's going to come back behind that battle.
And look at that, in a heartbeat, Jonathan.
And another 2 cars.
In a heartbeat, Robbie, according to my timing sheet here, he's in 4th position.
That's correct, he's in 4th position. He may be all those seconds behind, but if my calculations are correct, 4th position is enough to win the championship.
Definitely. Well then.
So I would say be like Alain Prost right now.
Yeah,
The reason they used to call Alain Prost the professor was that if he needed 4 points to win the championship, he made sure that he finished in that position.
Yeah.
And he didn't push more than he needed to. And that's how he won 3 world championships.
Oh, the most intelligent driver I've ever seen. Definitely Prost. But yeah, we're not even near half race distance, so anything can still happen.
Not even near half distance. We're on lap 16.
Yes.
So we're not even at a quarter distance. And that gap at the front has really opened up. 34 seconds now. Obviously DW hasn't made any pit stops.
He hasn't, but now he's got Muna right behind him.
That damage is affecting him. Muna now coming up behind him, just a second behind.
Well, Muna,
So
Muna had damage, he pitted, came out, and he's right behind him, so he effectively gained a free pit stop. Muna on
the amount of time DW has lost in those few laps,
yeah,
he could have actually pitted and been right where he is now. Death Seeker unfortunately retiring from the session. I didn't see what happened there.
Let's just go to him.
There we go, he's in the wall.
Oh dear.
Wheel is sitting on top of the nose. Do we have safety car on?
I don't think so, Jonathan, no.
We don't. That could have made for interesting reading.
Yeah, that would have closed it up. Well, that's one of the things I think most of us in the F1 gaming community hopes that they fix in the new edition coming in August.
We hope that for F1 2018, that's one of the things that they can get right.
Yeah,
Because it's an element that adds to the whole online experience.
definitely.
You could be a minute clear in the front, and a safety car comes out and neutralizes the race.
Definitely.
So
definitely, yeah. That's, you know, especially in full race distances like we do here in TnB.
So Death Seeker has retired from the session, as you saw earlier, and he's going to retire as the current leader of the pit stops log with 5. So that was 5 pit stops and then the fatal collision.
in 18
Ignoring
laps.
a yellow flag. I didn't see who that was, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's actually been a couple of drivers getting that warning.
Let me just see here.
Hello?
Yes, we've got a driver here with us.
I'm not sure
The internet cannot hear you. A yellow flag. I didn't see who that was, unfortunately. Okay.
No problem. How was conditions out there? Yeah, that sounds a little bit rough. Just say something, Wesley. I just want to see if your voice carries over on the stream. Sorry, mate. Just say something, Wesley. I just want to see if your voice carries over on the stream. Sorry, mate. No, it's not carrying over, unfortunately. Yeah, it's a setting.
Just going back to the race. We've got Nizmax in the lead, 36 seconds in the lead. So he's basically got this race. He just needs to keep it clean. Still hasn't made a pit stop.
Well, he's been.
Got the vet in second. The DW no pit stops.
Yeah.
The only two men on track now not to have made a pit stop. Ati has finally gone in and made a pit stop, and he's come out in 8th. So still in the points. And the championship leader crucially down to 7th.
Nizmax will be liking this battle between DW and Muna, because effectively Muna is getting held up slightly.
He's got free air.
They've effectively lapped everybody up until P4, which is quite amazing. I think
and Gavin is now 57 seconds adrift, so he could get lap 2. Could be an interesting result, similar to what was that Monaco in 1996 when 4 cars finished.
Yeah.
We could have 4 cars finishing on the same lap.
The judge retires from the session.
With the judge retiring, we didn't see that, but that doesn't look good.
Yeah, front left gone. Into turn 1.
I'm pretty sure the wheel is not designed to turn that way.
No.
Nope, and now it's dangling in the top. So that's the end of the race for him.
Unfortunate.
Be disappointed. Got 20 laps under his belt. But he's going to become the second retirement. Just 12 runners left. Crucially, Robbie in 5th place. So almost where he needs to be. Just 10 seconds adrift of Gavin in 4th.
Yeah, this becoming
just looking down some of these stats, everyone's carrying a lot of fuel.
Yeah, I saw that.
Gavin doesn't have a lot of fuel. And the Wes is almost running out of fuel.
Yeah, they'll still have a lot of time to save plenty. Especially if it stays
And then the man with the most fuel was actually the judge who just retired. He had plus 11.
Jeez. That's
so obviously running lean from the beginning of the race.
Yeah.
Maybe he overfueled for a dry race and then ran lean for 20 laps. I don't know what happened there. Plus 11. He'd run it on rich till the end. But I think that would be pointless at this point.
Well, while we're rambling on, the battle still rages between DW and Muna.
Absolutely. Going through Casino Corner now. Race control, Forsey picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So the penalties keep on coming. We might have an interesting timing sheet at the end. Things might get mixed up.
Yeah.
Going through that head, but now
I think this is his
getting
best
very,
chance.
very close.
Getting out of Portier,
Getting to the tunnel.
Going into the tunnel, getting a run.
Coming out of the tunnel and beating the vet on the brakes, I think that's
the best chance, yeah. But it doesn't
I think that's his best option.
The
But
vet's got some.
he's got it under control under brakes.
He's,
Under brakes he
he's
looks
got
very
a.
comfortable, and in fact he pulls away a bit.
Yeah, he
So
gets a great exit, and then he's got some good straight line speed. So I won't be surprised if he's
I'm actually
carrying.
looking at this battle from a fantastic helicopter view, and really getting a great sense of who's getting the better acceleration and who's braking later, because you're getting a brilliant view from the top. Looks really
Unfortunately,
good.
the director
Good
didn't give
battle.
me that view.
Fortunately, the director is set on random.
Yeah, I think he's probably holding that random button in his hand in the form of a nice refreshment.
That's right. Going through now, Robbie in 7th. So going up and down that timesheet. Made 4 pit stops already.
Yeah,
Just
he's having a
making
slight
mistakes
nightmare.
and making his night even more and more difficult. But trying to come through the field with guys that are clearly slower than you and not making contact.
He's just got Wesley lagging behind him and then in front of him. That must be horrible as well.
Now he's got Wes in front of him, and they made contact briefly at the hip, and I didn't see any damage on the front wing.
No, that's
Now
definitely
he
lag.
seems to have gotten past,
No,
but
just
I'm
keep
not
an
going
eye
to
on it.
confirm that for the next few corners. I'll
Yeah,
just wait and
Wesley's
see.
just gonna pop back right in front of him.
Don't want to confirm too many position changes when it concerns the McLaren driver. Robbie getting aggressive there, cutting a lot of the corner. He's going to try and go around the outside, and
Ooh.
Springbok Gamer says not today. And
Doesn't look
into the
like
Onco
he's...
barrier. I don't see damage on the wing. As he came past on the camera, everything looks intact.
Springbok Gamer just letting him pass there. He's thinking better of it.
You're going to have a man who's desperately trying to win the World Championship behind you, aggressively nabbing away at you, and maybe it's just better to move aside and say, go and do your thing.
Yeah, indeed.
And
well, I reckon
if Robbie's day continues the way it is, Springbok Gamer might find his way in front of him again.
Yeah. And then Robbie needs 4th spot, I believe. And guess who's in 4th spot? Gavin, this Max's teammate. So
Gavin is in 4th spot in the second Red Bull. So I wonder if there's a Red Bull party chat.
I'm pretty sure there is one.
I wonder if there's a Red Bull party chat.
Well, Gavin doing
And
a
Gavin's not
fantastic
the
job.
man you want to get stuck behind. Also a very difficult guy to pass, and on his day, extremely fast.
Definitely.
I'd say most of the time extremely fast, and on his day he's not.
Yeah, it's a little bit up and down, but from previous experience, from when I met him till now, his consistency has been much better. He was a little bit of a hot and cold driver, but now he's mostly blowing hot, which is a good thing.
Yeah, he's obviously one of our international drivers as well.
Yeah, man from Ghana.
Born right here in South Africa, but he currently finds himself in Ghana.
You can see the vets.
Robbie now 5th place, going around. He's got some clean air now. Now would be the time to throw in some purple laps and make the most of it, but that gap at the front has really opened up. 45 seconds now, the gap.
DW still continuing his defensive masterclass here.
He has done 25 laps of defensive driving in the rain with a damaged car.
Yep.
And that's impressive.
That's commitment.
Got the second Mercedes currently out of the points. sitting in 12th place, not having a fantastic day. Not sure what's going on there.
Oh dear, he's
Sitting
in the
in 12th
pits.
place, and this is only his second pit stop.
Can you believe it?
So
Oh,
he should be up the field considering he hasn't been in the pits, but he's serving a penalty, it seems.
yeah.
He was in there forever. Finally gets on his way, and yeah, he's going to rejoin in last, but a very long way behind the next car.
Fossey also just got his wheel recently, like in this week I believe, and you know, if he's using it, it's a tough place to come and have a go on a wheel straight off the bat. So
No,
kudos to
definitely,
him
it's not
for still.
it's not a dry Austria.
Yeah, I'll be thinking he'll just be aiming to finish the race and see where he ends up.
And with so much time to go, another 2 retirements, and you can get yourself into the points.
Definitely, yeah.
And at least you can say 100% race distance in Monaco, I got points. That's already impressive. The fact that you finished is impressive. The fact that you finished in the points, even more so. There's Max, Masterclass, 46.47, as I say that. 47 seconds in the lead. Vet's still doing a fantastic job in second. But remember that car's damaged. And he's trying to defend a position.
Yes.
So, it's one thing when you're thinking about going fast, but when you're thinking about going fast and you're thinking about keeping this guy behind you, and you're thinking about the rain and the damaged car, there's a lot to think about.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
And the concentration level has to be...
I'm having a look at Muna now. I'm going on board and I can see he's also carrying some damage now. So
I've actually noticed something. I can throw out all the comments and nobody crashes. It's when you comment. When you say something good, suddenly there's a crash. So maybe you should be the mean one.
Yeah, maybe I should be. I'm like
No, maybe you should be the mean one.
the bearer of doom for front wings. But that should equal out the battle a little bit, since they're both carrying wing damage. But good clean racing. You can see they racing
Great
hard
racing.
but fair.
They've been close like this for lap upon lap upon lap. There hasn't been a retirement, there hasn't been a collision, and there we go, purple lap. That's what I was speaking about earlier. Robbie goes through in a 126.307, and yeah, he's going to want many more of those to come.
Yeah. The other
This
important
is a result I'd love to see in Monaco on Sunday. A McLaren chasing a Renault for second,
Yeah.
while the Red Bull leads off in the front. Sounds like a good result.
Does, yes. It will spice things up dramatically.
No Ferraris or Mercs to be seen.
Yeah, unfortunately, I just wanted to say, Captain Ice in the Ferrari, and the lone Ferrari, didn't even make the start, unfortunately. Which is sad.
It's always sad when you look forward to a race, you prepare for a race, and suddenly things don't go as planned.
Yeah, definitely.
"49 seconds now. The gap continues to grow. About a second a lap. Did seem to get a lot of that time in the beginning. The gap is still growing, but it's not growing as fast as it was.
I think if these two gentlemen pits and they get new wings, they'll be more on the pace. Now we've got
The damage here in the damage in the first part of the race has been done.
we've actually got Robbie behind Muna trying to unlap himself.
Can you believe that?
That That is a sticky situation.
This is a very sticky situation because he's going to want to lap these guys because he wants to get on with his race.
Yeah.
He's got a car that's not damaged, so he's probably faster than both of them. And they're fighting for second place.
Yeah.
It's not as if they were fighting for 15th, and it's like, come on, guys. Well, they're fighting for second place.
Yeah.
What do they do? Move over and destroy their battle? Or...
Nah,
And the other problem is if they just sit there, well, there's no blue flags. He's trying to unlap himself.
Yeah.
So they could potentially just stay there, and there's nothing he could do about it.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he's sick of seeing his mechanic, so he wouldn't want to.
5-second stop-go penalty for Staffy. Speeding in the pit lane, it seems. Difficult pit entry. And with the rain, easy just to slip on the brakes.
He touches the barrier and loses a chunk of his wing. Oh.
And again, and this is not good. This is not good. Going from side to side on the Monaco circuit.
Oh dear.
And that is not what he would have wanted. Should he have just been patient and stayed behind those two until they made their pit stop?
No, Jonathan, I can
We'll
tell you the
never know.
problem. It was me going on board with him. Went on board with him and he smacked his front wing. The
Problem is we like all of these guys, so we can't let you ride on board with anyone.
I'm starting to panic now. I don't want to go on anybody. Oh, excuse me.
Anyway, now Max, that lead has grown to 50 seconds for the first time in the race. Another 10 seconds and you're going to have a minute gap.
Yeah, that is impressive.
After 30 laps, before half race distance. So, it's domination and he wants that championship.
I can tell you what,
Crucially,
Jonathan,
Robbie, 5th place after another mistake.
this is a championship worthy drive, this.
Let's also remember that anyone in that top 4, if they retire, Robbie's back in the championship.
Definitely. Yeah, look, what, we almost halfway through. So still a lot can happen. But as we've seen, you know, Robbie...
Timbo now crossed the white line over the pit exit. And another one, and another. There's 3 penalties now. Another one for Timber for corner cutting, one for going over the white line, and then we had another 3-second penalty for Fossey for corner cutting. So, as the rain falls, so do the penalties. And they continue falling. Hoping for a dry end to the race, that could maybe spice things up.
At least
But,
just
at the
to
moment
indicate...
things look quite constant.
Yeah, I would love to have a dry finish, just to indicate how the race would have been if it was started in a dry.
Another thing that makes it extremely difficult is the dark skies of the night. We can't look at the cloud coverage, we can't... We can see the rain is falling, but we can't see how bad does it look, because there are patches of blue. So, it's see.
The other thing to remember here is
that gap's 52.5 seconds, so that's 2.5 seconds in the last lap.
The other thing to remember here, Jonathan, is the vet hasn't stopped yet, and Muno has, so he's naturally his tires will be younger. So
that's right.
Getting to halfway now, it makes you think, when is the vet gonna pull the trigger and come into the pits, or is he gonna try go the whole race on them? Which would be mega impressive.
We know according to the rules of Formula 1, you're entitled to.
If it's rain conditions, the two weather compounds,
if the intermediates can make the distance, you may go the distance. You don't need to stop in a wet race.
Yeah.
So, but surely not 78 laps.
Probably, maybe if he didn't have a damaged front wing, maybe. So I would say no is my first instinct, but if he had a complete working car, maybe. Could
Doesn't
have looked
sound
at
like a very pleasurable experience
no. Well,
to do 78 laps with a broken car and tires that are fading away by the lap.
yes. I'm sure these. I can tell you one thing, Jonathan. After this race tonight, these guys are gonna sleep well. They're gonna be mentally drained. I can tell you
I
that
know
much.
they're going to be tired. I remember what I felt like after my first 100% race, and it actually took 3 goes to get off that couch.
Oof, Moona
No,
having a
it
look
took
at
3 goes to get off that couch. Got quite used to it towards the end, but it's like the commentary. That first race felt very long.
yeah.
This makes 54.9 seconds. Will be 55 soon. Getting closer to that minute margin.
Let's just go on board with him and see how his tires look. They're looking a little bit bare, but not in the worst condition that I've ever seen Inters on.
If anyone was going to try finish the race on one set of tyres, it would be Nismax.
Yeah,
He's in a position to do so. He's got a 55-second lead. If he sees he's losing time badly, he can pull into the pits before any damage is done. And so I think if anyone was not going to stop, it would probably be him. He doesn't have damage, and he's still going very fast. Even on worn tyres, he's faster than the rest of the guys.
just looking at him, the other thing is he's so smooth. So naturally tire wear will be less of an issue for him as well.
Just a update on our pit stops log. It's tight between the top 3. So we've got Jean on 6,
We just
currently tied with Sackman on 6, and we've got Robbie in 3rd with 5.
sorry,
So,
Jonathan, I got to, oh dear, Gavin is pointing the wrong way, first of all, and we've got Timbo that left the session. I think his head's gone, he just had enough. And Gavin had a moment.
Maybe just had enough. Understandable in these conditions.
Gavin just had a moment in the final corner there, so he's gonna have to do a whole lap with basically half a front wing. That's
not going to be fun, not on this lap. And maybe bring Robbie back into contention.
I'm just thinking
He's in 6th now. He's in 6th now. He's made another pit stop that we didn't see.
Robbie's problem is he's stuck behind DW. No. Oh, he pitted for a new wing.
Yeah, he pitted again. Now he's behind. Now he's with Wes, who was lagging
again
earlier. He's back in that situation. He seems to have gotten away from him for now. I'll confirm that in a few corners. But sliding it, getting it sideways. Somehow just managing to keep it on track.
Bent that Merc out of shape in every shape you can think of.
I'm pretty sure if that was me, that would be my race. That was, he held that together
pretty well, yeah.
Nicely done. Nicely done. He's now a minute behind 4th place. So, 4th place is where he needs to be, and he needs to close a minute. So maybe go to the end on these intermediates, get your head down.
The other thing I wanted to say now is we made a few pit stops. I don't think they put new tires on this car. I don't think they've got new tires, because you only get 4 or 5 sets, I believe.
So then if you make that many pit stops, eventually you'd be running around on used intermediates.
Yeah, they'll put you the freshest set they've got, but they will be used ones.
Considering he's had some laps that he hasn't completed a lap with his new front wing, and he's had to come in again. So surely there's tires there that are practically new.
I'm going with him now. It's a pleasure.
56.3 seconds now, the gap at the top, so the gap's still opening, which suggests there's nothing wrong with Nismax's tires for now. When he begins to drop time, then he can think about a pit stop.
No, I think he can pretty much stop when he wants to. Because even if
In the meantime, he can just keep going because that gap is still growing.
if the vet doesn't stop, and this makes can stop and come out in fresh tires and just go quicker.
With room to spare.
Robbie just puts in the fastest lap. He's really driving that Mercedes in anger now. It's a pleasure to watch, really. I think these lap times are a little bit fueled by anger more than anything else, but yeah, good.
So you know, we're having a bit of a problem with the timing screens because if I wait a minute and look at them, they don't make sense anymore. Seems like that gap, which was a minute between 4 and 5, is now 24 seconds. So Robbie's got to find 24 seconds to get himself into 4th place, and he could win this championship.
Yeah.
Regardless of the 1 minute
No, Gavin
win by
must have.
Nismax. All he
Man,
needs
look.
is 4th.
Yeah, Gavin's got a new wing, so he obviously pitted again. So that's where Robbie caught up.
So now that gap has
now
come down a
with-
lot. It's 23 seconds.
Yeah. And the other thing is,
So
Robbie's really putting
Sorry.
in the sectors now. So he's pushing like crazy. Timbo back in. Good to see. So,
we're back in. So showing some commitment.
yeah, it must have been just a disconnect.
Not gonna let the track of Monaco beat him today.
That's good to see. 25.6
Another
from
purple
Robbie.
lap. 125.6. So
Yep.
he's throwing the lap times down.
The man's on
He
a
wants
mission.
that 4th place.
He's on a mission.
He wants that first TnB championship. And he got his first TnB win this season.
Yeah.
Came good this season.
Yeah, I think what he needs to do is just take a step back and actually just watch the races. Like this one is a good example that he's a little bit too impatient. If he knows when to push and when to conserve, he will do much better.
Maybe, yeah, you know, maybe instead of going for that gap, it's worth your while to wait 3 or 4 corners
Definitely.
until there's a better gap.
Yeah.
So that's really what it comes down to is patience. And if you're going to be aggressive, you're going to make mistakes eventually. Occasionally, you're going to be aggressive and you're going to make a master move. But most of the time, you're going to be aggressive and you're going to look silly. So that's what Max Verstappen has found in 2018.
Yeah.
Usually he goes for the small gap and he gets it right, and everyone says amazing. And this season he's gone for the small gap, and small gap hasn't been there.
I'm just seeing at the bottom there Timber trying to join and getting kicked out, so I think he's got some connection issues.
Yeah, definitely. Timber just having some issues there, getting in and out of the session.
Well, now that
Watching Gavin going around now, he could still play a crucial part in this race.
he does, I think
Remembering the team that he drives for
he holds
and
the
the
key.
position that he's in, he could potentially, even though his teammate is almost 2.5 minutes up the road, he could very well decide the championship.
Yeah, I think he holds the key, Jonathan.
So, stressful position. Obviously, Red Bull have already sealed the Constructors' title. They did that last week. Had a fantastic season between the two drivers, Gavin and Nismax.
Yeah, to be fair, they've been the strongest pairing.
One thing we can talk about going into Season 4, actually, is that we're not going to have that.
Yeah.
We've divided drivers into 2 categories according to their time and according to their pace, and each team will get 1 of each.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't have a overpowered team in Season 4.
Yeah, it will equal the things out. It will obviously be the last season on this game. So, spicing it up a bit, Jonathan, and we actually are having the draw on Sunday.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, we'll put it up there for you guys to watch. It will be before the
That'll be
Grand
put
Prix.
up on YouTube in good time.
Yeah,
Considering if I don't have too much fun watching the Monaco Grand Prix.
no, it will be probably up
Because
before then, but
I had too much fun watching the Baku Grand Prix.
oh yes.
And that made me miss the commentary session.
Well, not completely.
I got there at the end of the day. I was just
Yeah,
fashionably late.
yeah, it was a connection problem. Let's call it that.
We'll call it that. On any other night, it could have been a connection problem. I should have just lied.
Yeah.
Nismak's in the lead. Can tell you that gap has crossed the minute mark. So he leads from the vet by 1 minute and 2 seconds. Never thought I'd say that. And the vet leads from Munna by just 0.3 of a second. So that battle continues throughout the race. It's really good drivers. It's really good driving from both drivers.
I think they're getting into the zone now, especially for DW. Thinking about strategy was, if he pits now, he'll come out way ahead of Gavin. As we saw Muna do, he'll catch Muna as well with a decent pace. So maybe if he's unsure of if the tires will last or not, it should be a good time to pit possibly.
Crucially, the most important man on track right now is that man in 5th place. He's 22 seconds behind 4th. And 4th is where he wants to be. As it stands, Nismax wins this championship. That gap down to 22 seconds, so he continues to close the gap to Gavin. He won't even be looking at a podium. I'm sure he's just focused on that 4th place.
He is, but he's coming into traffic again. I'm not sure.
Unfortunately, I get nervous when I see Robbie coming up to traffic.
Yes, myself. That's why I'm sticking with him.
Because I don't want him to get agitated and lose another wing. I don't want him to win the first edition of the pit stop challenge. Which is currently led by Jean on 7.
Yeah, just coming out of the pits now as we speak. We're sitting in P10 and he's earning the point. And he's still running, so good on him. Timbo is ghosting.
Not quite sure what happened there in 2nd place.
Muna
But
got
has
past.
the vet pitted? The vet pitted? He's 18 seconds behind. Is that a pit stop or is that a mistake?
No, it should be a mistake.
It's a pretty big mistake because there's an 18-second gap. And Nismax has stopped. So that gap down to a more reasonable looking 37 seconds.
Well, that tells you if he can't make it with these tires, then there has to be a stop
because
involved.
he was in the position to do so. He was still going fast.
Yeah.
He was still opening up the gap, so there was no need to stop unless the tires were
Muna's also the
unusable.
question mark, because he made a few laps in, but he also stopped, so I don't think his tires will last, so he'll probably have to stop again.
That's right, because Muna and DW, they're both on one stop, but those stops were made at very different points in the race.
Yeah.
So those tires could also be in very... You could see DW coming up behind Muna. But currently sitting at 18 seconds and looking pretty stable. That gap.
It's stable, but yeah, I would have pulled the trigger, gone in, get the undercut going. And by the time Muna stops, you'll be ahead. Because basically if you do that, you'll force Muna to stop as well. If Muna wants to cover that, he's going to have to go.
Commentator's missing another crucial thing on track. Robbie's in 4th. Not sure what happened there. Not sure what happened there, but Robbie's in 4th. That was a 23-second gap the last time I looked at it, but now Gavin is 2 seconds behind.
Gavin must
And
have pitted probably.
27 seconds pit stop sounds about right. About 30 seconds.
Yeah, he's done 4, so I think he was on 3, so...
Obviously, just looking at some of the position changes, the biggest winner on the day is Gavin. He's actually made up 8 places to be in 5th. So, good drive. Stops, we've already gone through. Currently, Jean is on 8, so pretty sure the mechanics have had enough for him.
Yeah, those...
Tires, nothing really to go through. Everybody's obviously on intermediates. And yeah, it's looking pretty stable at the moment. That gap's opened up to over a minute again. And DW's in 2nd. So Muna obviously made that...
yeah, he made the
stop.
pit stop. He made the pit stop, and I can see he's got the wing on. So he's going to put DW under pressure now to make a stop.
Just looking at some of the lap times over the... Robbie. Yeah, he's got the fastest lap at the moment with a 1:25.6. Liz Max has got a 1:25.8. So they're actually running pretty similar pace. It would have been interesting to see Robbie at the front without some of the shenanigans at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, true that.
Could have been interesting because looking at those lap times, they're pretty close.
DW staying out. So it makes me wonder, is he gonna do that whole race with one set of tires? It's possible. If anybody can do it, it's him as well. He's very light on his tires.
The DW.
Yeah, I used to call him Tippy Toes back in the day. I seen that man take ultra-softs around Spa to well into the 90% without popping, and yeah, to this day I still don't know how he did it, but
very, very carefully.
yeah.
Springbok Gamer coming into the pits for what will be his coming out of the pits. Sorry, that was his 3rd stop, and he comes out just ahead of. Is that Staffy? That's Staffy.
Yeah, the Staffy, yeah.
Tight battle on track there for 7th place.
Definitely.
And obviously he came out just in front of Staffy, but his tyres will be cold. And Staffy's going to get the move made. Probably want to get it done in this first lap and a half.
Yeah.
Before his tyres get up to temperature. Fastest lap for Robbie, 1:25.6. So showing some consistency there. Just getting his head down in 4th place. Looking at Fossey in 11th place. It's now 6 laps behind. So some of the guys really having a tough time.
No, like I said, I think he'll just aim for a finish, and to be honest, he just needs one more retirement. And then he's
There is
in the
one
points.
benefit of being 8 laps behind. Means you only have to do 70 laps and you're going to finish the race.
Yeah, it's another way of looking at it.
When they're still running in 3rd. 1.5 seconds off DW.
Yeah,
They're just down the road. Those two have been at similar pace throughout the race. And I'm pretty sure they're sick of seeing each other.
I'm thinking Muna won't be wanting to see that Renault rear wing again. I bet you he probably thought the vet will stop.
And Fossey coming out of the pits, he crosses the white line. He's going to get a 5-second penalty for that. And that's just going to add to his So his dilemmas. We've got the top three at the moment running stably. Obviously Nizmax half a race ahead. And then we've got DW and Muna in second and third. We've got Robbie in fourth. He's in the position he wants to be in. That's perfect for him. He just needs to keep it there. He doesn't even need to worry about the podium.
I'm showing
Gavin has left the session.
Yes, indeed. He's ghosting with no front wing, so I'm wondering if he's just given up, which is quite surprising.
Whole string of cars going past his ghost car now, so even if he rejoins, he will have lost at least 4 positions.
Oh,
Well, they were unlapping themselves. But that just means he'll come back into the race and have a string of cars to lap.
Let's see if he makes it
going slowly. It's Fossey. He's not going slowly anymore. He's come to a standstill.
Oh dear.
Now getting going. Is this a retirement on the cards?
He's doing
Well, he better get it out of the way quickly before he gets disqualified. And as I say that, he retires from the session.
Oh dear.
And we have 1 Merc left. Just 10 runners. So the deal is you finish the race, you get a point.
Yeah, the wheels are falling off the wagon a little bit, it seems like.
47 laps now. Of these grueling conditions starting to get to the guys.
Yeah, it's starting to show now.
Still 31 laps to go, so then they have to dig deep and just keep going. 31 laps of Monaco still to go.
Well, let's go down to Springbok Gamer and Staffy having a close battle as well. These gents still... Oh, Atti's actually got a little bit of front wing damage.
So difficult to battle on this track and not get damage, as you can see by the pit stops. You try to be as clean as you can. These conditions, they don't really help.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the rain is what undone some of the guys here tonight.
Tell you, Wes is in the pits, he's changing a wing, and he's go. But there shouldn't be any position changes there. Big gap down to 7th place. 53 seconds the gap there. Wes rejoins the track. Careful not to cross the line. And he's back on circuit in 6th place.
Yeah, I think Robbie's in prime position now, just to...
So they're also coming into the pits now. And he's serving a penalty. No one touching the car. There we go. Wing change, tyre change. Seems like a default.
But that must
Go into the pits, change your tyres and your wing.
I wonder if he's back in the car and the car's not ghosting. Right? He's back in, it seems like. Good on him. He can score a point
Doesn't
from
look
here.
like it's ghosting, but yeah, you can get a point from here. Like I say, getting a point here in these conditions, already quite an achievement.
Yeah.
Just looking at the other Williams, sitting in 8th, currently in a battle with Springbok Gamer.
Yeah, they're quite getting close now.
Springbok Gamer missing an end plate.
Yeah, easier.
So I would say patience, be patient. There's going to be a mistake, you're going to run wide eventually. Can't make any rash moves around this circuit, there just isn't the space. And around these conditions, with these conditions, you can't expect to be spot on.
Mm.
The gap you could probably squeeze through in the dry. You probably shouldn't do that in the wet.
Yeah, I think the rain is probably what the little bit of wheel-to-wheel action we could have had. It's taken it
Now
away.
getting really close. Coming up behind Springbok Gamer, who's got that wing damage, just battling there up the straight.
Oh dear, it touches the inside the
There we
barrier
go, he's gonna
casino
have a bit
square.
of respite. He'll get a bit of respite. He'll get his mirrors clear for a while as Staffy makes an error. Luckily, he doesn't seem to have damaged the wing there.
I'm just going on board with Muna, and I can see he is right on the vet and he's missing some elements on his wing as well. So
It's been a race of damage.
yeah, we stuck where we were. It seems like.
I think the only person not to have damage at this stage on their car is Nizmax.
Yeah.
At some stage in the race, I don't think he's pretty much led from the front and just cleared off into the distance. 1 minute and 9 seconds in the front.
Yeah, he's having a Sunday cruise.
Well, I hope he doesn't lap. These two, because that could get quite interesting.
You know,
If he wants
yeah.
to lap second and third, that could get quite interesting.
He's not far
Oh,
away.
look at that, a 1:24.9 there for Robbie. Slipping into the 1:24s. It seems like he's got that fourth place secured. Just keep it clean till the end of the race. We've seen him make a few mistakes.
Yeah.
Now coming up to a lot of traffic. He is going to lap Gavin, who is the man in fifth. Now coming up behind Staffy in eighth. So he's got a bit of traffic to contend with. And how difficult it can be, especially at this part of the track.
Yep.
Not a lot of space for the driver to give, and it creates a rather difficult situation. Blue flags come out, you can't get out the way, and it's
There's Steffi lets
well,
him
he gets past Staffy gets out the way. Springbok Gamer, the next one. He sees him in time and doesn't
yeah,
gets out of the way easily. No problems there.
And that
Nicely
gives
done. Good to
Steffi a
see.
run. That gives Steffi a run. And he goes past Springbok Gamer.
That's
Intelligent
the
driving
problem. That's the problem with the guys that are in their own battles and then they have to get out of the way.
there. Yeah.
Sometimes it can cost you. Difficult situation, but Staffy gets by. And
Right. Intelligent, he just stuck behind Robbie and
ooh, and Springbok
utterly-
Gamer hits the wall. He hits the wall pretty hard. I can't tell if there's any further damage to that front wing, but it
Yeah,
seems so because he hit it pretty hard.
that front
felt
wing
that.
is pretty finished.
Not where the horse driver wants to be. Sole horse driver, obviously, the only one left. Sole Renault driver, sitting in second place, DW. But that gap to Muna, just 7/10 of a second, so that gap has closed up, right back to where it was.
Yeah.
And these two continue to battle throughout the race. It's actually pretty impressive. I think the first time I saw these two battling, or the first time I took note of these two battling, was around lap 17. So they've been going at it for 35 laps, which is insane. Riding on board here with Muna, the conditions look terrible. Now they're coming up to lap Timbo, the two of them. simply get out of the way. Goes to the inside. DW has to brake, and there's a
Cuts
collision.
the corner.
Cut the corner, he's got out the way, but there was a bit of a collision. I don't know if there was any damage done. It doesn't seem that way.
No.
Looking at Munna's wing, everything looks intact. Everything looks like. I think that front wing is fine.
No, it's got some damage
Actually,
on
I think
the left.
there's got elements on the left-hand side that are missing.
No, but that's been
There are elements on the left.
It's been quite for a while. I think he must have touched the vet somewhere when he got
Worst
close
contact,
to.
he touched the vet's right rear tire.
Yeah, but I think it was a few laps ago already. But anyway, these two are, I can
They
say,
continue
very
with their battle
familiar.
now.
Very familiar
Within,
with each other's driving style by now.
Within a second, it's the vet's only seen a McLaren all race, and Munna's only seen a Reynolds all race. So
I think Muna can paint you a mental picture of that Renault rear wing in his sleep.
the yellow black car and the orange black car
Yes.
would be a great result to see in real life F1.
Well, the Renault in these rainy conditions look more like a yellow submarine, Jonathan. They pass
Had a Force India parked there on the outside.
Dear, he's
Don't know
missing
if he
a
was-
wheel.
Don't know if he was getting out of the way or if he retired. Well, what he just said he retired is missing a wheel.
Yeah.
So down to 9 runners.
Timbo picking up some more points. Good on you, Boot.
That final stretch of the race now, just asking the drivers to dig deep, and one or two of them coming off short.
Yes, indeed. What a chaotic race, to be honest, Jonathan.
Absolutely chaotic, and actually very difficult to commentate on. To keep track of everything that's going on.
It's just too many variables all over the place.
If you don't pay attention for a lap or two, you miss it.
Yeah,
It's been a
indeed.
difficult race, but I'm sure it's been more difficult for the drivers out on track.
Oh, yes.
And W, Munna, and even Robbie, who's made countless mistakes and countless pit stops, and it back in. And it's actually at this point it would be a really difficult driver of the day. I don't know if we've got anyone in the comment section, but if anyone's there, let us know who do you think should be driver of the day. The moment between first and fourth, I don't know who I think. Robbie has come back from 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, it's that. It's the vet's masterclass defending. It's Nismax's smooth driving style, just cruising in the front. Gavin jumping 8
Definitely.
spots, but obviously just gave up there at the end, which is a shame. I think he would have been a strong contender. Then Nismax is now lapping his teammate, or his ghost. So I wonder if that's the first time he takes notice of it, or if they indeed in a party chat. I don't know.
It's ghosting around the track now. Had a good race earlier on, but maybe just made one mistake too many. And just decided that he's had enough. And he's gonna go upstairs, get warm, and watch the rest of the race from somewhere much better than the cockpit. This Max now 1 minute and 20 seconds ahead, so Surely he can't be far from lapping these guys.
No, he's actually just coming around the chicane now, so yeah, that always another spanner in the works.
He's going to come up to lap the guys that are fighting for second and third. So you're going to ruin their battle, or are they going to let him go at just the right time? All experienced drivers. They're the quickest drivers in TnB, so hopefully there's no drama.
Now I call it Muna to slow down and let him pass easily, and then try to stick as close to him as he can. So try to catch the vet off guard.
And I would say, in a year of playing this game and now broadcasting this game for the past couple of weeks, this is the very first time I've ever seen someone possibly finish a lap ahead of everyone.
Yeah, that would be a first for me too.
I don't think I've seen that in this league or any other league. I think that would be a first for me.
Yeah.
Just not putting a wheel wrong the whole race, just not necessarily setting the purple laps, leaving that up to Robbie, but just keeping the lap times consistent and doing enough to grow the gap consistently.
Yeah.
At one stage it was 2 seconds a lap. So they're getting close now, they're going to meet in the tunnel. Should they let him go in the tunnel, or is he too far? He's still too far.
Still a little bit too far. There's no blue flags waving yet.
You don't want to catch him in all the chicanes. Maybe he'll catch them on the pit straight, and I think that would be ideal.
I'm just going on board with him, trying to see if he's not easing off. Because if it was me in that position, I wouldn't have wanted to catch them, actually, to be honest.
Maybe just let them have their go. Well, he is getting a bit closer now.
Yeah, no, he is getting closer. He's not slowing down on purpose, let's say that.
I think I could also sit back in this situation if I ever found myself in a situation like this.
Yeah, I would have
safer.
I would have broken out the.
You never know what you're gonna do.
I would have gotten out the blanket, get comfortable in the car, and just watch this battle in front of me.
As Mika Hakkinen once said, I was so far in front, I could have stopped and had a cup of tea.
Yeah.
But he said it in a much better accent.
Oh yeah. And only...
An accent which I won't even try to imitate because, well, I'm not Finnish.
Definitely.
And if you're not Finnish, you shouldn't even try that accent.
Not even that. It's just Mika Hakkinen. Just said it with that Mika Hakkinen-ish. If you know what I mean. It's only him that can be so dry but yet funny.
Mika Hakkinen was the best. I remember a famous question. He started in third place with his McLaren Mercedes behind the two Ferraris that filled up the front row of the grid. And at the pull-off he went from third to first and led the remainder of the race and won the race. So the interviewer in his first question asked him, Mika, third to first, your best start? Excuse me, what did you say? Your best start, third to first? No, it wasn't. And the guy's like, okay, well, moving on. And that was Mika Hakkinen. Even drier than Kimi, but funnier than Kimi.
Oh, Muna's having a look now. Oh, no.
Things getting touchy here for second and third, and then this is all very confusing. Second is leading the battle from third. Who's leading the battle from first?
Yeah, this makes just touch
now
the wall.
Now Muna getting a 5-second penalty, which has ruined that battle.
Oh dear. But yeah, he should have...
That battle is done.
He should have gotten out of the way sooner, but anyway. Maybe a little bit of rustiness being out for a few weeks.
DW has secured a second place there. He's gotten quite a gift. first of all the 5-second penalty, and then Munna really lifted off quite heavily there. So
And all the while
nice
this is
cushion
going
now.
on, Robbie's catching up. He's only 36. I think it was in the 50s. 50 seconds behind
It's 34
Munna.
now, 34 seconds, so it's
Yeah.
coming down.
He's catching. I don't know if he's got enough time to.
Still 18 laps to go, so a lot can happen. That's like your basic 25%er.
Yeah, but
A lot can happen in this time period.
like you said, Jonathan, why risk it when you're in the points paying position that you need to be?
I wouldn't even be chasing purples at the moment. I would just make sure I was faster than the car behind me, and so that it wouldn't catch, and stick to fourth.
Yeah.
You do the maths and you win the championship, why not? Now coming up to lap Timbo, and he's had a bit of bad luck in traffic today, so
Oh dear, yeah. Just be patient. Be patient. Yeah, the less I say about that, the better. Because Timbo did slow down and he gave him room, but Robbie was too close and too impatient to get past. And knocks his wing again. Not bad damage, he can survive with that. But yeah.
well, not a lot to be said about the move. It was abrasive. It was unneeded, and
yeah, it's just overzealous.
a lot of there is space on the track, and that's not one of the corners to do it in.
If he was a little bit further back, he could have recognized what Timbo was trying to do sooner. He was just
unfortunately
too close.
I don't think we're going to see that gap close anymore if he's got damage.
Yeah.
Depends how bad the damage is and how well he can manage it.
Nah, he's safe
Well,
from attacks from behind.
He's not pulling into the pit lane, so
Nah, he must just settle down and finish the race.
Doesn't pull into the pit lane, he's going to finish the race like this.
Anyway, Muna's back on DW, yeah.
These two have been relentless. Just the entire race.
I would love to know what DW's tire wear is at this very point in time.
Well, he's made the one pit stop.
Yeah, but it was very early on, if I can remember right.
Munna made his pit stop very early on.
Also,
Munna made his pit stop very early on, and Nismax and DeVet held out for very long until making their pit stop. So I think DeVet's tyres are fresher, if I'm not mistaken.
no, I think it's older, but I don't know
That's
about
Munna.
how much. That's an Munna looks on the inside, a little bit of wheel bang.
I'm sorry, Munna made a second stop. I was very wrong.
Yeah.
I wasn't taking into account the second stop. Yeah, I think then he stopped after the vet.
Now the big question is can the vet make it on that set of tires? I know he's
Getting close, right on the gearbox. But just
oof.
Around the outside, really getting close now, almost side by side, going into the hairpin. Chooses to slow down to get the better line out of the corner. Now you've got to remember now, Munna's going to want to get past. He's got a 5-second penalty.
Yeah,
so all of this could come to nothing unless he gets past and creates a gap.
I think that's what he wants to do, is to get past and try to sprint away. Even though he's got wing damage, he should
the only way he can secure second. Because even if he passes DW and just stays in front of him, he'll finish third. He needs to run away a bit.
Yeah.
And I think he does have the faster car, but this is quite a defensive driving
masterclass. That's what you call
that we are watching. This is flashbacks of Senna keeping Mansell behind him for 30 plus laps. there was a race sometime in the late 80s where Mansell just couldn't get past Senna, and he basically chased him for the last 37 laps or so of the race, and he couldn't get past him. And afterwards, showing the fitness of the drivers today, Mansell had to be carried out of the car after the race. He couldn't get out of the car by himself. He couldn't get out of the car by himself after that battle. He was done.
Yeah, he basically collapsed.
Couldn't even talk in the interview. And in 2018, you will never see an F1 driver do that. I think he'll be fired if they realize that's the condition he's in.
Yeah, not only that, I think the cars those days were way more physical to drive. These ones we've got now is
definitely
2017, 2018 spec. Obviously much more demanding to drive than 2016 and previous. So yeah, but
can just imagine every couple of split seconds taking one hand off the wheel to change gear.
Oh yeah.
And putting your clutch in, and it's insane. And yeah, they reckon about on average 4,000 gear changes a race.
It's insane.
Muna running wide, just missing the wall there.
Yeah, I saw that as well. It's a little bit of a wake-up call there. Oof, and then knocks his
What
wing.
is that? Is that a maybe you should settle for third? Or is he going to give it another go?
I think so.
Gap's opened up to 1.6 seconds. So we'll watch that gap. If it gets bigger, then I think he settled for third. Robbie 26 seconds behind. And crucially that 5-second penalty, so 21 seconds behind.
Well, he's hit the other side of his end plate also. I'm wondering how drivable that McLaren is now. Is he comfortable driving? Let's just watch him and see if he goes to the pits.
He doesn't come into the pits, but he can't come into the pits with a 25-second lead. He will get past. We've seen that the pit stops around here take about 30 seconds. So, he will lose that position. And Robbie could still find himself on a podium after quite an entertaining race. Crazy to think the race we would have had between first and second if Robbie had kept it clean in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Watching Winner go around in third, keeping that gap at 1.8 seconds. You can't really tell what his intentions are right now. Is he settling or deciding? Does he go for the pit stop? Is he watching the gap down to Robbie? That gap is closing.
He's understeering like crazy.
The gap down to Robbie is 22
hits the wall. There
seconds.
Goes his wing completely. Surely he has to stop now. I
Gap
just
to
wanted
Robbie,
to
22 seconds.
I just wanted to say he's running the risk of not finishing this race. And as I wanted to say that he knocked his wing, and he
doesn't go into the pits.
No, he's making
Don't know how much sense that makes.
Because Robbie's gonna catch him up hand over fist now.
I wonder if he's aware of his penalty, because you've got to remember his penalty. That gap is 21 seconds. The penalty that Winner got is 5 seconds. So you're actually looking at a 16-second gap. So Robbie could actually get third without having to even pass him.
Yeah, I think he's gonna give him third if he stays out without a wing. If he goes to pit and changes his wing, serves that penalty, he's got a car to at least fight Robbie with. I think
Riding on board with Winner, you see carbon fiber flashing across the screen again.
Yeah, no, it's completely gone.
As he clips the Armco, and there's not much left of that front wing. And surely now losing time, 17 seconds now the gap. Considering the 5-second penalty, That's a 12-second gap.
Yeah, and it's just
If he
losing
stays
time
out, he's going to
everywhere.
lose this position.
Yeah, he's gonna have to put, definitely. That's
So
if he doesn't
Gav is
lose
2
it.
laps behind, so the worst that can happen is he pits, he finishes 4th.
Yeah, and we see his
So maybe
teammate
it's just the best thing to do.
TnB Wes also just retired recently. So
Now
yeah,
we've technically got
McLaren's
just 8 runners left in the field.
McLaren losing momentum here at the final stages of this race. Yeah, serving his
And
penalty,
serving a penalty.
changing.
And now they get started. It's slow with the wing.
Yeah, there goes Robbie. He's
She's
passed.
going crazy. Robbie goes into 3rd. Can you believe that result?
Yeah, it's impressive, actually.
I would say, you know what? If it were up to me, Robbie, driver of the day. Came
Yeah,
from last at a stage. And it wasn't looking good for the championship. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. And he's done enough to get back to a podium position.
well, let's just keep an eye on that gap between Robbie and Muna, because obviously Muna naturally will be quicker because he's got the
We know
fresher
that he's
rubber.
quicker around the track.
So let's
And
just
now
keep an eye on
with
that.
the new front wing, fresh rubber.
Hopefully he didn't
Seems
damage his wing, or it look like it. Yeah, he's really pushing now. Obviously a little bit angry with himself.
Careful not to get too angry with yourself and lose the plot with 10 laps to go.
Yeah, you don't want to do 70 or 68 laps out of the 78 and then lose it. That would be
No
quite
points at the
heartbreaking.
end of the day, and just 2 hours of torture for nothing.
Yeah. Oh, just having a
And it
look at the
has rained
time.
throughout the race. It hasn't let up. It hasn't got lighter. It hasn't got harder. It's just been consistent.
We're almost at
And
the 3-hour mark, I'm just looking.
at the 3-hour mark.
Yep.
Oh, will you look at that? I didn't even realize. Some of these guys have had fantastic battles on track throughout. And they've entertained us. But now the runners are thinning down. Just 8 runners left. Will we see more retirements? 10 laps to go.
Not impossible. I think Robbie is the one to watch, because the gap is going down. So, yeah, I don't know. I wonder if he's
13
aware.
seconds with 9 laps to go.
I'm sure he's aware of the championship situation, so he shouldn't push too hard.
Also bearing in mind, when I say 9 laps to go, those two are a lap behind, so 8 laps to go.
Yeah.
So with 13 seconds, 8 laps to go, he might just, well, run out of time.
His tires are looking bald though, eh, Jonathan? Robbie's. I'm going on board with him, and yeah, those inters don't look
Well, no,
in a
they
great
don't,
state.
they're starting to resemble slicks.
And he has been pushing hard on them. So yeah, just keep it together.
Keep an eye on the gap. It's still 13 seconds, so he just needs to maintain it at that, and he'll be fine because time is running out. 8 laps to go. 8 runners left on track from initial 16 that started in Q1.
Yeah. Well, 2 was disconnections as far as I know.
So 50% have survived so far.
Yeah, it looks pretty much
just been
stagnant.
keeping an eye on that gap. It's actually just crossed into 14 seconds, so it looks safe for the time being.
Even the vet as well looks pretty comfortable from here now. Providing his tires aren't too much in a bad state. Because if they go off the cliff, it's, yeah, can get tough.
Conditions have been relentless throughout the race. They haven't let up, they haven't given the drivers a break. I was hoping for a dry finish, but
yeah,
that's not going to happen.
You can see you're 100% in Monaco at night in the rain. It's not for the faint-hearted, let's say that.
It's probably a worst case scenario. I think the only thing that could be worse is full wet.
Probably, yeah.
In full wet when we can't see a thing, that would be quite disastrous. To spray at the start.
Yeah.
No, just keeping it clean there around the hairpin. You can see he's enjoying that new wheel of his.
Yeah, definitely.
Turns into the hairpin and just makes it look so effortless and does it all in one even flow.
Smooth motion, yeah.
Definitely see he's enjoying that wheel. And there's Max running at the front, all by himself. There's no one around, not even a car to lap. Clean race. Went for the championship, made a fight for it, and at one stage it looked like it was firmly in his hands. But Robbie's fought back into a podium position, and with 6 laps to go, someone going to make a mistake. If things stay like this, Robbie wins the championship. So we'll have a Merc driver for champion and a Red Bull constructor for champion.
Championship standings it's 10 points, not 12, right? 10 points.
I thought it was 12 and everybody's corrected me and said it was 10.
Okay, so let's think about it.
I thought it was 12.
Yeah, I also thought it was 12, that's why I'm asking now. But anyway, okay, yeah, the winner gets 25, second gets 17, isn't
18.
it? 18.
18.
Okay, and
third
then
gets 15.
Yeah, so it's, well, 10 points. They will draw even, wouldn't they? Sorry, I'm just trying to do maths on a Friday night, very late.
Well, now I'm trying to do maths with the Benoni education.
No comment. No, according to my maths, they would be level on points.
I still think it was 12 points because the gap was 24 points and he halved the gap. That's what I remember. So it was 12 points. It wasn't 10.
Anyway, we'll wait for the official result.
We're gonna leave that up to the official results and the stewards to decide because that is unclear.
Yeah. Anyway, on that shocking note, doing maths so late. I've only got
on a Friday night. It's
after,
really not what I'm supposed to be doing.
it's quite been a horrible day as well, if I'm quite honest. So yeah, good drive nonetheless from everyone basically. I was thinking it would be quite difficult in dry conditions. Seeing as it rained, I thought, ouch, but it's not been that bad. Not been that bad.
The guys have held it. The guys have held it together very well, considering. Monte Carlo, home of Nico Rosberg and Charles Leclerc.
No.
Actually grew up here and went to school here. Can you imagine that?
Yeah. But Charles was born here, where Nico was born in Germany, actually.
Yeah.
Well,
But I think he spent most of his life
yeah,
growing
no,
up here.
he's been.
When his dad retired,
Yeah.
everything went. But most of the drivers have homes here in Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
Might not live here all the time, but they've got homes in Monte Carlo. It's actually a principality with a South African princess.
Oh yes.
Monte Carlo.
Also from Benoni.
That's
Rob.
right.
Sorry, Jonathan. Rob just knocked his wing. But I don't think it matters, really. Muna's still quite a
It
while
seems
back.
like an element is missing there in the middle, but it doesn't seem like anything too serious.
Yeah, it's not
Just
too
coming
bad.
up by Springbok Gamer. Ooh, raises his hand. Got a contact there as he comes through to lap. Obviously lapping is not his strong point. That gap to fourth now 16 seconds. So it seems like the top three are stable if no mistakes are made.
Yeah. It's just a big question, the wet tires. But it seems like he's got it under control.
So, the vet carrying any damage?
Oh yeah, no, he's still got the same broken wing for the last 3/4 of the race, really.
Man likes abuse. Doing a good job. That gap now to third, 9.9 seconds. Just 10 seconds. Flirting with 9 seconds. It's close, but the time is going to run out surely.
Yeah, definitely.
This Max has started the 76th lap. Means there's 2 laps to go. I think for the most part we shouldn't expect too much action from this point.
Yeah.
It would be funny if all the action came at the end. Just running through the guys who have retired. We had TnB Wes. He had a eventful race, made 5 pit stops, landed up retiring. So it doesn't paint a good picture. Sean, another one of the retirements. Fossey, Tackman, Judge retired early on. Also had a bit of a battle and eventually met the Armco barrier. And then obviously Beatrice went in countless times to change his wing. And then one corner he broke more than a wing.
Yeah.
So 6 retirements. And 2 disconnections.
wonder what's the emotions going through this Max. Lapping the whole field and not
And he's
even...
going to lose the championship.
Well, not completely lose, but maybe draw it as well. I don't know. It's...
Now we need to look into that because I'm almost certain it was 12 points.
No,
And
obviously
the guys have been talking about 10 and 10.
No,
But
I'm pretty sure it was
I think
12.
it's 12.
Yeah.
I think it's 12. It was 24, and I think it got slashed in half, and that made it 12.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to verify that before any official results are posted.
No, we'll verify it and post it on Twitter, obviously. But yeah. I mean, the man is a masterclass in Monaco, and yeah, it just didn't go his way. It's yeah, must be a little bit of a difficult pill to swallow, but anyway.
Got Monaco running around in fourth. Was in a stronger position for most of the race, and in the final quarter of the race suddenly lost its pace. Monaco is cruel.
Indeed.
Cruel and unforgiving. And the weather's just there because why not?
Yeah, Muna short shifting is completely backed off. So just bringing it home.
They settled for fourth place. Good points. I'm just actually going around with Nismax on his final lap.
Yeah, coming through the swimming pool section.
Doing a great job. Just touching the barrier there, but no harm done.
No, this, without the
Around
doubt,
the final corner, and what a drive. One of the better drives I've seen.
Masterclass. This is so impressive with this. So impressed. Well done.
Well, what a performance. That was going back to the rest of the guys. We've got De Vet also going over the line. He's going to come through in second.
Also,
Nicely done. Good
defensive
drive.
masterclass. He had to fight hard for that second position.
And the defensive bit there in the middle, that was a... But now following Rob, he's finished the race too.
Finished.
Obviously a laps behind.
Muna
The top three are confirmed. We've got Nismax, DW and Robbie. Just waiting for Muna. He's coming over the line as we speak.
Yeah, here we go.
He was. There we go.
It's just making a little stop at the line.
And now everybody's finished except Staffy, and he's going to cross the line in a couple of seconds.
Well done, Steffi. P5.
There we go.
The top 5 drive.
That's that. Nice race, 100% distance in Monaco, 5th place. Nothing wrong with that. You can be happy with that result.
Yeah, definitely.
So obviously we've just got to go back and verify a few things on there, but I think what's happening there? Is that a draw?
I'm
How do
pretty
we fix it?
well, we'll have a look. I don't have everything with me right now.
With the 3 South African flags side by side there on the podium. No Ghanaian flag up there this time.
Oh dear, yeah. And he was in with a shot.
Well, that's that. That's the end of season 3, round 10.
Yes.
Nismax winning the race with, well, what can I say about that performance? If you watched it, you'll know why I can't describe it.
Yeah.
DW in second, brilliant drive, had to work hard. Robbie, third place, I'd say driver of the day. And I'm not currently sure what's happening with the championship, so I'm not going to comment on that. Munna fourth, Staffy fifth, Max Verstappen for some reason sixth, Springbok Gamer seventh, Timber eighth, and that's all of your finishes.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone, and
I believe so. Well, the next time me and you will be on this Sunday. Yeah, for the draw for next season. Yeah, tough luck. Cheers.